Thanks for tuning in to the Better Business Podcast, where down-to-earth entrepreneurs like you and me get to share what it's like running their own business. If you'd like to get involved, listen in at the end of this episode to find out how. So let's hear from today's guest. Hello and welcome to the Better Business Podcast, where I talk to business owners about the highs and lows, the pitfalls and successes, the agony and the ecstasy of running a business. My name is Justin Challoner, and with me today is George Fusneica, who runs a number of businesses, including property development and life coaching. And we're going to be finding out all about what he does and how he runs his various businesses. So hi, George. How are you and how's your week going so far?
Hey Justin, hi. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it straight. This is my first ever podcast I'm recording, so thank you for the opportunity and for the experience. My day has been a very good one. I had a very good week. I had a week off, so the day has started really well. Working on the business, working on a few things, and of course, looking after myself first thing in the morning.
Great stuff. Great. So let's get into it. Let's find out a bit about you. Can you tell the audience about yourself, about your business, and what you do?
Okay. Thank you so much. I always like to start this with saying that I'm a dedicated husband and father of two children, 19 and 11, and this is my most important business. And the second one, which it's something that formed me and got me where I am. I'm an accident and emergency medical doctor. I work in a small but very busy regional hospital. I'm involved in a mixture of clinical shifts, but also quality improvement projects. And I also teach advanced life support for doctors and nurses. So I live in a high pressure, but also high demand environment, but that one that requires excellence on the part of me. Business wise, I've been involved in property since 2017. I have a portfolio of 10 properties, a mixture of HMOs, commercial properties, and buy to lets. I have 64 tenants at the moment if I count the commercial one. I built this business with my wife Alice and a number of business partners, creating the type of relationships that suit the needs that we had at the time, and of course offering our skills and availability to create those JV partnerships. And 5 years ago, I started also working as a coach, first of all, for a property institution, where I had formal courses for 6 months with a 2-day graduation with the real life group, and I became a property coach. And 2 years ago, I've taken the courses for 1 year of the UK College of Property Development and became an accredited life and business coach and also an NLP practitioner. And I'm very proud of all my realizations. I've also been the owner of multiple businesses in the past. The latest one we had to close for some reasons was Ultra Vita Health, which was group coaching for busy professionals, which started in 2020 and we ended this activity in 2025. We never ended that activity. We just pushed it towards my freedom coaching, and this is what we basically do in business and in life. I hope this answers your question.
Yeah, great. So, wow, you've got a lot going on there, and it seems like your thing is very much helping people. Who are the kind of people that you help? What's your sort of typical customer or client?
Um, in terms of I treat, including my life, I treat everything as businesses. I think this is a very solid way of looking at things. And people say you have to create separation between business and family life, but I believe more in a communion. And I think if my wife and my children are heavily invested, at least mentally, in my businesses, they will understand better the challenges I'm going through. They will understand better the mindset that goes behind them. And look, some of the principles I've learned in business, if I apply them in life, and I do apply them in life, my life is going to be so much better. So my customers are people that need help, people that need guidance. My customers are, entrepreneurs, founders, leaders, normal people that don't have an interest in business, who are driven, ambitious, and they're kind of deeply committed to creating a meaningful impact in their lives and the lives of the ones around them. So I found along the years that I create an environment where people are, juggling better business with personal well-being. I help people that are kind of struggling to find clarity within the noise of the business environment. I'm working at my best with people feeling stretched thin across work, relationships, and health. I also click very well with people that are hungry, they're ready for change, but they're not sure where to begin, how to begin, and they have some barriers and some problems that are stopping them in their way. I basically work with people that need more clarity, control, and more intentionality. And this, you can transpond it across everything I do across medical work, working with patients, caring and catering for my tenants and my properties, caring and catering again for my coaching clients who have different needs and different areas of life, and they work in different niches. So yeah, this is where I stand. This is my perfect client is somebody that wants to reclaim their life back, but without sacrificing their ambition. This is what I'm going to say about it.
Mm. Okay. So you have yeah, you've got a lot of things going on, as I said earlier. How do you manage that? How do you keep all those plates spinning? I'd love to hear like how you sort of keep on top of all of that.
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, this is a very valid question, and it's a question that comes across quite a lot from my coaching clients also. And I believe, look, we have 168 hours in a week. And I've done a little experiment as a part of the program of Ultra Vita Health, as I said about the business I had to close recently. A part of a program, I've showed people how I can give them a 27-hour week. Sorry, a 27-hour day. I basically created 3 more hours every single day for them, showing them some simple skills how they can actually gain 3 hours every single day. It is not about how am I spinning all the plates. It's about how am I making a difference without it affecting my life, my health, my sanity, my rest time. And it's about efficiency and efficacy in what we do. There is time for everything.
Mm.
I have people looking at my life and saying, how do you do all that? But I know deep inside I can do twice as much. It's just about finding the ways and finding the right teams and finding the right people to work with you, for you, in order to be able to create a business that you run and is not you being the business, you being the executor, you being the leader, you being the visionary, and you executing everything. It's about leverage, it's about creating solid boundaries, and it's about putting yourself first. This is how I managed to juggle all the plates.
So does that involve a lot of delegation then? Is that part of what you're saying is delegation is quite important, getting other people to do jobs so you can kind of be free to do other things. Is that right?
Um, you have to design everything with that in mind, because what people normally do, what they do, they create a business by putting themselves 100% in, maybe 110% in, because we fortunately in the last few years we started talking about burnout, about having too much on my plate and all sorts of things like that. And I think what people do, they go and put 110% in, they suffer burnout, they have a drawback from the business, and then start creating systems for that. If I was to give you a very simple example of that, is people that are in full-time employment, working 40, 50 hours a week, they try to build a business in the same time. They try to build a second business in the same time. What comes to neglect usually is their health, then is their family life, then is probably the primary source of income is going to take a hit also. So it's just about finding the things that you like to do in the businesses and delegating the rest of the things from the first moment. For example, can I just give you an example, a very short
Yeah.
example?
Yeah, yeah,
All our property portfolio is managed by somebody else. And this management cost for us is included in the first numbers. When we look at the property and we calculate the numbers for the property, that involves the fact that we involve about 15% of the income being given to somebody to formally manage the whole portfolio, including, property visits and everything else. We like to think that if we're not in that property for 3 years, that property is still going to work absolutely fine, and we're going to have excellent care to our tenants. So we have formed the business in such a way that it doesn't involve our presence on site. Because the last thing I would like to do is to have my business influence the lifestyle I want to create by running that business.
Mm.
So this is how we started delegating in every single task. One of the habits I can share with the audience, if they're happy to take it on board, is every single time you have a task coming to steal some of your time, you have to ask yourself a question. Who can I delegate this to? How can I delegate it? How much is it going to cost me? How much time is that going to free up for me? If you do this exercise for long enough, you find all those things you can delegate to other people. And there's the wonderful and magic in that. Once you start delegating some things, you're going to want to delegate a lot of things. Now, the reverse of that, does it mean I'm not in control? No, I'm still in control, but I don't have to actually do all the nitty and gritty of that business. But you still have to be in control of all those things, but control means 2 hours a day. Doing all those tasks means 8 hours a day. And this is where the difference comes from. It's just getting into the right mindset of starting to pay people around you. And yes, you will maybe at the beginning, you will earn less from your business because your cash flow is going to be affected by all the specialists you're paying in your business. But ultimately, I'm here to do the things I want to do in the rhythm I want to do. And if my development is going to take another 2 years to get where I want to be, but I will pay people, I will delegate people to do those things, then this is going to mean that in the 5 years I spent to delegate and to do those kind of things, I'm still going to have a life.
Mm. Mm.
And it's a people say, oh, it's a big price to pay if you don't delegate, if you don't pay, if you self-manage, you'll be at your goals 2 years earlier. Yes, I agree with that. But the 5 years I've done doing that, I did not have a life. And
Yeah.
the only currency we don't have coming back to us is time.
Yeah.
My daughter is never going to be 11 again. My son is never going to be 19 again. My wife, she's never going to be in the state of mind and physical shape she's in right now. I'm not going to be in the same physical state. I'm not going to be able to cycle in the same way when I'm going to be 55. So I want to enjoy life now. And delegating is about more about finding that balance
Mm.
between those things.
Yeah. Yeah. I suppose some people hearing that though will feel a bit uncomfortable because I think a lot of us we want to control everything, don't we? You mentioned control. We want to sort of um, I suppose we're kind of there's a concern that if we give a task to someone else, we're thinking, can they do it as well as me? Can they do it properly? That I think that's partly why people won't let go. So what would you say to someone who that if that's their reaction, if they feel like, oh no, I couldn't possibly delegate because I just don't trust these people?
Mm. Yes, I see where this is coming from, and um, I was one of the people that found it very difficult to delegate.
Mm.
And I get this, and I probably say it at least once a week. I'm probably not as happy as I should be with what somebody has done for me. But I also find something else. I find people doing things much better than me. I find, true professionals are doing things so much better than me than, the 2 hours I spend with them would mean 100 hours on my side to create the same level of excellence. So how do you trust people? Well, you got to invest a lot in the relationships at the beginning of them. So nothing, delegating something doesn't mean to just throw it to somebody and hope they're going to do a good job. It means to transfer to them your vision, to transfer to them your values. It means to transfer to them, the things you want to be done in a certain way, they are done in a certain way because of your values exist there. Well, if you teach them about your values and what you stand and what you want to see at the other end of the business, they will work with you in creating that image. And look, you're not going to be successful in delegating everything. You might need two or three attempts to find somebody that understands you, somebody that gets you. This is the word that people will use in a trivial conversation. And it's the work you put at the beginning of the relationship that is going to make the difference in how you delegate things in the future. And acknowledging the fact that there are people doing things much better than you are doing. This is another hard one to swallow, mostly, if you're a proud individual and you've been raised in a competitional environment to think that somebody can do things better than you. But this is the other secret of it. You have to start acknowledging that people are doing things better than you, and you either pay them to do them for you or you get to that excellence. And to me, having excellence in all the fields is nearly impossible. I would rather focus on the skills I love and I thrive in doing, and I would delegate all the other ones.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I suppose the other thing is, well, I think you've kind of said this as well, that you there are plenty of people out there that can do jobs for you, aren't there? And if you work with someone and find it doesn't work, if they're not really up to scratch and you don't get along with them, you can just find someone else, can't you? There is a wide sort of market out there for all these jobs. It's not like there's a really specialist job that only one person can do. So if you find someone who doesn't really, you don't really gel with, then you can just find someone else, can't you?
I think it also, yeah, this is true. This is true, but I think it also stems from the fact that I think sometimes we don't take enough time to look deeply in who we are, what
Mm.
our values. So then when those get challenged by a professional, we think sometimes we misalign with them. But what I've learned from talking to people and what I learned from talking with people that were running certain types of businesses, I've learned that actually I had no clue what my values were. I had no clue what my direction is. I had no clue on what freedom meant for me. And I did not know. And when they challenged me, I just realized actually I don't have the answer to that question.
Mm.
So I think sometimes when we can delegate a certain something to somebody, when we cannot use the services of a certain business, we uncover a deep truth. The fact that we don't know what our passions are, we don't know what our values are, we don't know what our goals and standards and purposes, because I don't think people have a certain purpose or people are finding their purpose. I think we have to find our purposes. And I think that this is what it unveils. So it's not always that somebody can do something for us. It's about uncovering in that relationship the fact that we're not very clear on what we stand for. So it's a as exactly as you say, it's a double sword, double-edged sword. It's not always that people can do the things for us. It's about not us having clear what we want from them. Because we then attract, when we are clear on what we want, we attract the people that can work for us because they click with us from the first moment. And I think makes the job easier for everyone. And when you come to an interview to interview somebody to do something for you, if you're dead clear on everything you want from them, they're gonna stop you at 5 minutes and say, "I'm not the person for you," which is fine. Or they're gonna
Yeah.
say, "Wow, this is music to my ears. I want to work with you for the rest of my life." And this is where the true magic happens. And this is one of the best examples is our letting agent in Cardiff. You have the highest level of excellence in everything they do. And
Mm.
the way they work just clicks entirely on what we need. But everything was passed on to them with clarity, with exigence, and it's being maintained to such level since it's happened. And actually, they challenge us now. They challenge
Okay.
us to have better properties, to be up to standards. And this is what I love. This is what I love in a relationship. It's not about me being smarter than everybody else. It's about
Yeah.
me being able to be in a position to say, hey, maybe they're right and I'm not. And because when you start losing in business is when you think you know everything and you can do everything and nobody can can teach you anything. This is when you start making mistakes. And in business, mistakes can be anything from losing a couple of £1,000 to losing your house, your business, your family, your health, and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's important to have this vision.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Well, you mentioned mistakes. Have you made any mistakes I'm sure you
Oh,
have. We all have. But
absolutely.
what mistakes have you made that kind of were a real, really powerful learning lesson for you in terms of your business?
I mean, look, we make, and I don't like to call them mistakes. I like to call them learning opportunities.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
I think the word mistake is something hard. It's a burden we put on our shoulders.
Mm,
As the only person that has makes no mistake is the person that does nothing,
mm,
or is the person that does exactly the same thing every single day without any variability. And I haven't not seen anybody successful in the true sense of it to be of a mindset where they want to do nothing and they just want to repeat the same thing every single day. So, like any other meaningful businesses, mine hasn't been a straight line in any possible way. There have been moments that felt, messy, uncomfortable, or uncertain. But they've all been some of my greatest teachers. As one of my good friends and people I work with, Mark Harvey says, the only teacher in life is experience.
mm. Yeah.
And the other thing, practice makes perfect. I think practice makes permanent. So we better be in the good practice first. But some of the things that didn't go as well in my businesses, and this is you're going to find this very common because you're involved in business and we both involved in kind of the same business circles with people. I basically said too much. I said too much yes to too many things.
Yeah.
I lost sight of my boundaries. So this is one of the mistakes I've had in life.
Mm,
Um, I tried to serve everyone. At points in my life, I tried to serve everyone and anyone instead of the people that truly looking for me. This is another mistake I've done. I went too general, too broad, and I've lost sight of the people actually needing me. Um, I think that at some points I moved a bit too fast, and I've lost sight of the clarity I needed in my business. And that clarity and the systems I could have had in place earlier in my life would have saved me lots of money and lots of you know time loss. I think the other mistakes I've done is being out of control. I like to call myself a control freak, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. And the times where I've done big mistakes in business and life is where I took my eyes off the cookies, when I lost that control, when I chose to do something different. So I
mm,
think, and that all stems from moving too fast. Yeah, that's fine. We'll do it like that. Hey, no, wait. Give me 2 days to have a look at it. If I said that, I would have saved months of, setbacks and things like that. Um, What else? Well, I think sometimes I held too much onto strategies that didn't really necessarily work for me or what I was trying to create. And I didn't, um, they say it doesn't matter if you got into a wrong train. Yeah, if you go to the railway station and jump into the wrong train, that's fine as long as you get off at the earliest station possible and then you switch another train back, you're only an hour loss. If you do this at the ninth station, that is so much harder to get back to where you started. So not acknowledging that those strategies and the things I were doing didn't necessarily serve my purposes at that time. Um, Look, at the time when they happened, all those things felt like major setbacks. Some of them felt like, look, I just want to give up right now, right here. I want to
mm.
sell everything and move to the countryside and not care about anything in the world. But every one of those mistakes have also taught me something really, really essential. They say, that how do I honor my energy in the best way? You know,
Yeah.
they've taught me how to trust my intuition, and my intuition, I've had that hunch that I've never expressed, and if I would have, I would have been right. So how to trust my intuition, how to lead from clarity rather than urgency. That was something really, really big for me. Sometimes you're presented with an opportunity, you just jump straight in. No, wait, does this align with my goals, with my purposes, with my beliefs? And then also, I've learned from my mistakes that I need to build a business that supports my life and my lifestyle, not a business that consumes my life.
Mm,
So, I mean, um, they say that every single bad thing is happening to you puts a major crossroad in front of you. And I'm truly grateful for all the crossroads I've had because nothing has gone badly in a way that I regret. Every every single thing that gone bad for me had gone bad exactly the way it needed for me to become, the coach, the leader, and the human being I am today.
Mm.
My business and my life hasn't been perfect, and it's probably never going to be perfect in the true sense of it. It's just a journey of, I think, growth, because, learning opportunities make you grow, lots of awareness and alignment with my values. And this is what makes it really powerful. And this is what makes it a journey that I'm really proud to call my life. And I think is I always have another saying, no good learnings came out of a good day.
Yeah.
A day where
Yeah.
everything is perfect doesn't necessarily teach you anything. It's perfect, we celebrate it, we're grateful for it, we say yes, we punch a big fist in the air, but we don't learn anything, do we? It
Mm.
doesn't turn us into a better person. And I can give you the perfect example, give a 20-year-old everything they need. Are they going to be a person of excellence? Probably not.
Mm.
But give them a bit of grief, give them a bit of a situation where they have to show up to themselves, and give them a situation where they have to struggle and dig deeply into the bag of possibilities. They will learn how to be a better person. They will learn humbleness. Also, my mistakes made me humble. Made me humble and made me realize how much help I need from other people, how many people I need in my team, how many people I still need to, I've paid over, I stopped counting at some point, but if I put it head to head, I probably paid over £90,000 in the last 8 years towards my personal development. And people ask me, do you have any regrets? Have you ever got the money back? I said, the only regret is that I didn't spend 200,000. I should
Yeah.
have had more coaches faster. I should have had more people in my team faster, better lawyers, better everything. I should have had the best of the best of the best, better financial planners, business advisors. Everything should have been much better. This
Mm.
is my only regret. Do I regret anything about spending? No. I just wish I spent more. And that's why now I have three coaches at the moment that work with me. My team has been enhanced. We do things in a completely different way. Less profit on the short term, much more profit on the long term. This is what I believe in right now. And I also believe in different streams of income have to happen at different times in life, and that they have to allow for this fluidity, because I don't believe that somebody can spread themselves thin in three directions. But I've really consolidated my position as a doctor. That needs minimal input from me to maintain and be in an area where I can provide excellence.
Mm.
My property business has gone to a space now where it probably needs a bit more attention because of new regulations and everything else. And then, of course, my coaching business is at the forefront of my vision right now. But Alice is taking a lot, Alice, my business partner and wife, she's taking a lot on the property business. So I only have to come and provide a bit of input. So most of my attention now goes into my coaching business. This is where 90% of my time is spent right now,
Mm.
from
Mm.
my business time. Okay, a bit of a long answer to the question, but I
No,
think
no, that's great. That's
you okay.
great. So being a doctor, medical doctor, how does that inform the work that you do in your business? Is there much of a crossover in any particular way?
Um, I've been asked why don't I quit the medical job, because lots of people go into business so they can quit their day job.
Mm.
I don't see a life without my medical job, and I'm sure at some point in my life this is going to take the shape of being an educator and being a maybe helping healthcare professionals to have a better life, but still is going to be in a medical environment. I
Mm.
think that being a doctor and being asked such high standards of me, that made me have the same kind of behavior towards business.
Right.
So I think it's really, really useful to have started my life as a medical doctor. Of course, I had multiple businesses whilst being a medical doctor. I've always liked to learn new things and to grow into new and, sometimes very surprising directions. But I think the medical work was the one that kind of led me to excellence. The medical work is the one that led me to understand how much is important to look after my health after seeing some of the tragedies in people younger than me, health-wise. And I think the medical work has shaped me into this person that wants the best for the customers. I think that the medical work has shaped me into a leader because I have to be a leader in my hospital. I have to lead teams in trauma, in cardiac arrests, and I have to lead teams in times of hardship. I have to congratulate teams in the times where everything works well. I have to be able to debrief people. So I think all those skills are definitely transferable to my business life and to my coaching. I've been praised for my power of being able to listen to people in a very constructive way. And I think that comes from having to listen to people in the worst possible moment in their lives, which is, when their life is in danger, where their health is coming to the end of it. So I think it's definitely been useful for me, and I don't see my life in any other way. And it was also a personal challenge. I was very ambition, ambitious young Ben, although I haven't really got along with school very well. I've always been um, a bit of a not pariah. I wouldn't call it pariah, but I was somebody who had their own mindset and their own mind about things, and I don't think it was
Rebel.
appreciated by the school system. I was a bit of a leader when I was a child, so they didn't appreciate that. I didn't fit into the sit down and say nothing type of model. So I really love science, and I always went to all my science classes, but every other class was not one I liked. So I don't think that my family particularly believed in my power of being able to be a doctor and to go to the medical school. And the medical school exam in Romania, it's a very difficult one. It's unlike here, you have to pass some really difficult exams to get there. And I managed to do it. It wasn't from the first time. I had to go a couple of years and try to pass the exam, but I just proven myself and the world I can do it. And I think it became a part of me, cut of me. I always liked science. I never done it to spite someone, but I think that energy helped me be persistent enough to be where I am. And I consider myself a very good doctor, and my patients appreciate me. And I'm not necessarily through my medical knowledge or my capacity of storing memory, but through my behavior because I think for patients it's really important to have somebody they trust, to have somebody they can speak with freely, to have somebody that understands them and listens to them. So I think having this in business also helps quite a lot. And having this in my coaching life has been absolutely instrumental. And this is where I think all the energy comes from. I want to help people have a better life. I don't want to just be the one to fix their problems when it's too late, or I don't want to be the one that says goodbye for the last time to this world with them, for them. But I want to be the one that helps them live that life in the best possible way.
Yeah. So George, what would you say to someone who's about to start a business, or they're thinking about starting a business? What kind of advice would you give?
Uh, well, it's a lot of things to say. It's a lot of which one is the most important learnings I've had from my business. But somebody was to start now, and they will be right at the beginning of their journey. I would say one of the most important thing is just get started.
Yeah.
You know, start before you feel ready. I think it's a very important piece of advice. You're never gonna feel you're fully prepared. You're never gonna the people that succeed are not the ones with the perfect plan.
Mm.
Is the ones that take imperfection and turn it on its head and take action consistently. Yep. So people who take imperfect and imperfect action consistently, because look, whatever you do, momentum is always going to beat mastery. And I think that people are struggling more to get perfection than to keep on moving, and that stops them. Another thing that is very important to me, just get very clear on why you are doing this. Unfortunately, lots of people starting a business because they want to make more money. And then this type of concept rarely survive this day if you're not passionate about what you're trying to do, if it doesn't represent you, if it doesn't stand on the same level with your values, with what you want from life. If you cannot do that business, if somebody wakes you up at 2 o'clock in the morning and says, do your business right now, then you shouldn't probably start that. Get very clear And you just ask yourself these questions. What change do I want to create in the world around me? Who am I
Mm,
helping? Who are my customers? Why does this matter to me? How is this make me a better person? What in my life led me to think about that? Your why has to become an anchor for those days where things are not going great. I think is really important. Look, another one is about the early stage. If we speak about the early stage, the early stage is not about being right, it's about being fast. Being fast and just treat everything as an experiment. Just think of times every single business should start in terms of, okay, what if I do this? Take a bit of action, get some feedback, adjust on the back of that, and keep on going. So look, this type of mindset will remove the fear of failure because nothing is final. If you see something in your business as final, you could be going down the pathway, this is never going to work. If you see it as data, then it's something that's going to move you forwards, is going to tell you exactly what to do or what not to do. Edison doing the light bulb, he learned 1,000 ways and not how not to do the light bulb. Just keep on failing. And I think at the beginning of your business, fail fast,
mm.
fail frequent, get the learnings from there, move on. Okay. Another piece of advice would be don't build it alone. Yeah, try to get people early in a journey. Try to look at the people with 3 or 4 steps ahead of you, and always learn from people that you're never going to be able to get to the level of. It's much better to be the small fish in a big pond than to be the big fish in a small pond. Yeah. Always look for the next level of growth. Always look, how are they doing? Who is that guy? Who's that girl? How are they doing better than me? What's happening there? And make sure they progress in the same time. You don't want to follow somebody who just stopped and just settled. I don't like the word settle. So get mentors, get coaches, get supportive friends, your family, your spouse, your children, whoever can help you in your journey. Just keep on asking for help from them. And I think that the essence of business is one that people don't necessarily mention too much unless they've gone through life and they realize it for themselves. Focus on solving one real problem.
Mm.
A successful business is a business where we find a real problem, we find a pain point of a specific group of people, and we sort it out for them in a way that they never thought about. I mean, PayPal, PayPal is just easy, fast. I don't need to have a card. I just log into my account, make a payment, all sorted. You just quote PayPal as a form of payment. They sort it out for you. Google Pay, amazing. My phone, tap it. It sorts a problem. It sorts and brings comfort in somebody's life. Okay, and just start small, yeah, and think big rather than the other way around. Yeah. So yeah, you don't need a logo or website to start. You don't need, all you need is a person with a problem, a solution that helps, a way to deliver it, and keep on, experimenting, taking the learnings, get the data, move on, move on, move on. Fail fast, fail often, get the learnings, and keep on moving.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. It's somebody who's starting in business.
Yeah, that's great advice, George. Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, that's really, really good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, George, we have come to the end of our time talking. But before we finish, can you tell the audience how they can learn more about your business and where they can find you online?
It's very simple at the moment. Just tap my freedom coaching. You're going to find my pages. You're going to find my Instagram. You're going to find my website, myfreedomcoaching.com. As I said, it's not perfect, it's not final. I don't necessarily believe I believe more in face-to-face interaction, but people can find me on my website. They can find me on Instagram. They can find me on Facebook, of course, on my personal page. My phone number is public there.
Yeah,
And if ever they need to get in touch, just, yeah, as I said, search my name. I come across all search pattern. Most of my work is done on Instagram, so also they can contact me personally there. And I'm sure if I pass on a phone number, it can be attached to the media and everything else. But yeah, that's how I like to speak with people. I believe in one-to-one interaction more than anything else.
yeah,
So if anybody wants to get in touch with me, they can, yeah, one-to-one is the best way. Of course, my email, which you have, I'm not going to state it out here, but yeah, it's all available to everyone that needs to reach me out.
Yeah, and we'll put all
And of
your
course, if
links.
somebody wants to follow, if somebody needs to follow our property journey, as you can see, my business, my coaching business is at the forefront of my mind. Let's not forget about the property doctors. We chose not to have a website on that one. We're doing so many things in property, so hard to maintain and to just keep up to date. But people can look on us for on Facebook. We have a page, the property doctors. We share all our journey, all our learnings, all our properties there, all our strategies and everything we do is quite informative, educative, and you can find some of the struggles there too, which not too many people are happy to share.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
that's from me.
Great. Well, yeah, we'll put all the links in the description of the podcast, so people will be able to find you through those. So that'll be great. Um, yeah, thank you so much for your time today, George. It's been really, really interesting. Yeah, I've known you for a while now, and it's just been great to talk to you and hear more of your kind of little nuggets of wisdom and learning. Yeah, it's been really great to talk to you.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you for the opportunity.
no problem,
This
no
whole
problem.
experience made me think about myself in a different way, and thank you so much for having this opportunity. Glad
Thanks,
to help
George.
where I can.
Thank you. All the best for the business,
Thank you very
and
much.
see you soon. Take care. Bye.
Thank you so much. I'll see you soon.
You've been listening to the Better Business Podcast, brought to you by Farsight Films and Utility Warehouse. Farsight Films creates memorable video content for your business that helps you stand out and get noticed. Get in touch now to find out how Farsight can help boost your video marketing strategy today. Utility Warehouse is an award-winning provider of comprehensive utility services that bundles all your utilities into one, helping you to save money. Get in touch for a no-obligation 15-minute consultation that could bring you significant annual savings. Check out the QR codes on screen or click the links in the description to find out more. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. All the best, and keep building a better business.